He lives in us whenever we welcome the stranger, those undocumented immigrants in our land who are being told that they are less than. He lives in us. He lives in us whenever we stand up and proudly proclaim that Black Lives Matter when our society is saying that they don't. He lives in us. He lives in us whenever we stand in solidarity with those who identify as LGBT and we say that you are loved, that you are valued, and you are exactly who God created you to be. He lives in us. He lives in us whenever we go to the margins of society. We go to those tent cities, and we organize with people who are experiencing homelessness and say that you are valued. He lives in us. He lives in us whenever we say that locker room talk isn't acceptable. He lives in us. He lives in us whenever we say that if you have a physical or a mental disability, that you are still loved and valued. He lives in us. He lives in us whenever we say to payday lenders that it is unethical and contrary to our religious beliefs to charge exorbitant interest rates to people who are already desperate. He lives in us. He lives in us whenever we demand a fair daily wage for each and every person. He lives in us. He lives in us, friends, whenever we shine the light of God, the breaking in of the realm of God on this earth into the most vulnerable, the darkest, the most deeply hurting places. He lives in us. May it be so. Amen.